Well, hello and welcome to our Lifestyle Wellness Group podcast, Blondes with Brains. So today I have the lovely Karla with us. She's actually a health coach as part of our Lifestyle Wellness Group. And real quick, before I forget, if you guys are watching this on YouTube or if you are listening to this on your favorite podcast provider, please subscribe to our podcast so that you get our alerts when our new podcasts go live or our new videos go live on YouTube. So, thank you so much, Karla, for getting on here today. We have a very, very hot topic. We're going to talk about breast implant illness today. And I know several people who have been touched by this. And I'm really excited to hear your story. And because I know there's a lot of people out there that are not feeling good and they're kind of looking for answers because I know your story. I know what you've gone through. So can just kind of tell us a little bit about your background, who you are first, and then, how you figured out that this could possibly be, breast implant illness.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Thank you for your time. Um, Again, my name is Karla, and I'm a certified health coach. Um, you're going to have to excuse me throughout this because part of the condition is that brain fog. So sometimes I'll forget mid sentence what I'm about to say. So feel free to egg me on if you need to.
We got you.
I guess let's start with I got saline implants. Whether it's in front of the muscle or behind the muscle is just a mystery right now. Doesn't matter anyway. But 22 years ago. And I didn't really start connecting the dots until very recently. My health has been on the decline, just a steady decline, just not enough to be very noticeable, but enough within the last 3 years to go, something's wrong because I've
And
been to, I'm sorry.
let me stop you right there. Let me For you guys listening to on the podcast right now. Karla is perfect weight, in great shape. Her arms are, I wish my arms were defined like hers. She's a yogi. She's in phenomenal shape, guys. And she has beautiful skin and flat stomach and very athletic. So let me paint that picture for you guys, okay? Of, the epitome of health, okay?
Mhm.
So that's Karla. So she's out there doing what she needs to do to be healthy and exercise and keep her body in perfect shape. So sorry, I needed to paint that picture.
Thank you. I'm a runner too. I run half marathons. But yes, and I eat healthy. I don't do fast food. I make sure that what I'm putting in my body is the right stuff. So I've had migraines probably over the last 20 years or so, increasing in frequency as the years go by to the point where last year it was probably more, I could count the days without migraines easier than the days with migraines. So, and none of the medicine worked. It was days on end. It was horrible. Um, I got with Pure and started pouring organic nutrition into my body, and they kind of went away. They got better. Um, 3 years ago, I had an episode where I got up from the couch too fast. And I was holding a glass in front of me, and I got really bad palpitations and tachycardia and ended up fainting on the glass. So I broke the glass with my neck and my mouth. Yes, I severed the anterior jugular. So that was an emergency trip to the hospital.
Yeah, that could have been life threatening right there.
But and the point of that story is that even then, being at the hospital, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I wore heart monitors. They did all kinds of testing, everything and anything that you can imagine, they looked for. And the doctors were like, well, there's nothing wrong with you. You are perfectly healthy. I'm like, I am not perfectly healthy. I just broke a glass with my face. So it's been, and that was, again, that was 3 years ago, and it's been a faster decline since then. At the beginning of 2020, I started feeling, I don't think you can see it, but I started feeling a lot of pain around here
Mm-hmm.
to the point that I couldn't even lay on that side at night. They did a mammogram and an MRI of the area, and they found what looked to be a lymph node, but nothing cancerous, because according to the breast specialist, cancer does not present with that kind of pain. It's actually, cancer doesn't present with pain,
Okay.
not in the breast.
Okay.
So, and this was in March. Again, faster decline. Went on vacation in August, and the whole time I'm on vacation, I can't wait to get back home so I can go back for my run because I miss it. Get back from vacation, go on my run, and everything just went down the drain that day. I remember being in the run or during the run, and my watch kept buzzing at me. Your heart rate is too high, which I thought was weird for the pace that I was doing. That was not normal. It was like 189, and I wasn't even running fast. So I said, okay, well, maybe I'm just dehydrated from the trip and whatever else. I'll just drink a whole bunch of hydrate and water and everything will be okay. And it wasn't. And August 22nd was the last time that I was able to run. I ended up in the hospital on August 23rd with severe tachycardia and palpitations. I was laying in bed close to midnight and it woke me up. My heart rate was at 156 for about an hour until
Wow.
EMS got there and gave me nitro and took me to the
Wow.
hospital. So at the hospital again,
Now, it describe for people, because I don't think, if you've never had that racing heart rate before, like I've had it before. So, and it's that racing heart rate, you kind of feel kind of little out of breath. You get a little clammy and a little sweaty, and you kind of get a little anxious, because you have a heart rate monitor on, and your body so well. But if someone doesn't have a heart rate monitor on, or doesn't know their body that well, what's some of the other things to look for?
right. For me, it was not only was it fast, it was also pounding, and you could actually see my chest jumping. I was sweating, and at some point, I was shaking uncontrollably.
Mm-hmm.
There was no nausea or anything that's normally associated with a heart attack. Um, but the shaking, the tremors, and just the fact that it wasn't coming down and just stayed up until, again, they gave me nitro and took me for observation.
Right.
There, the second episode I had, I was sweating, not with the first one, but there was always just that it's just, I don't know, like uncontrollable shaking, and it started in the legs and it just went up my whole body. There was also tingling in my hands and feet,
Mm-hmm.
and the shortness of breath, which I have a little bit of right now because I'm sitting here and my heart rate's at 107. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see it on this. So.
And so their natural response to that was probably, okay, let's check out and see what's wrong with your heart. There's something wrong with your heart. And we all know that women are very prone to heart attacks. Now, you didn't have any of the other symptoms. You didn't have, obesity, overweight, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. You had none of the other
Nothing.
things. But I know they put you on a heart rate monitor,
They did.
right? To monitor that.
They did. They actually, that first visit to the hospital, they kept me 3 days for observation because
Wow.
even at the hospital, it kept shooting up for no reason and it would stay up and then after a while it would come down.
Hmm.
So, and even then they couldn't find anything wrong. The doctors were coming in my room going like, we can't find anything wrong. There is nothing physically wrong with your heart to make it do that. You don't have the typical markers for heart attack. You don't have anything. The only thing that they found was low potassium. So they said, this is probably severe dehydration, which I knew it wasn't because I'm good at keeping up with my hydration, but I'll take whatever explanation kind of makes sense at the time.
Right.
Um,
So then, so you just kept having the symptoms, and so you kept digging and digging and digging, right?
right. After I went home, that's when the vertigo started really bad. And I thought, oh, maybe it's because I've been on a hospital bed for 3 days. But it wasn't going away. It was actually getting worse. That brain fog was really, really bad to the point where I would ask my husband something and he would answer me and I'd turn around and ask the same thing and he would give me the look like, are you seriously just asking me the same thing? I was like, I didn't ask you. I thought about it. He's like, no, you asked me. So it's bad. It's to the point that sometimes I feel like I'm dumb because I'm like, I forget the words for things and I don't know. I actually have a whole list of things from the breast implant illness checklist. Everything that's yellow are all the symptoms that I have.
Oh my goodness. So read some of those for our people that are following along on the podcast. Read some of those symptoms. And then I want you to tell everybody like how you found finally, diagnosed it and said, "Okay, I think this is what I have." Like how did you figure that out?
Okay. I'll read the most common ones.
Okay.
Fatigue, and it's a fatigue to the point that even after you sleep all night, you wake up and you're just so tired, no energy. I feel the bags under my eyes. I feel like they're down here.
Down at your chin.
Brain fog, muscle and joint pain, hair loss, extremely dry skin. My skin looks almost like I'm a reptile. And even after moisturizing, it still looks flaky and kind of reptilish.
Like crepey.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
bad. Let's see, hypo and hyperthyroid symptoms. I have all that. They can't diagnose a single thing.
Oh,
Hormone imbalance. Throat clearing is something that I've noticed over the last 2 years increasing. I'm constantly clearing my throat, and there's really no reason for it. Vertigo is on the list.
that one's a big one.
Intolerance to heat and cold, very much so. Skin rashes, I get earaches every once in a while for no reason, just random, very sharp earache. Headaches, migraines, heart palpitations, and normal changes in normal heart rhythm are part of the list. Tender lymph nodes in the breast area, like I had.
Mhm.
Dehydration for no reason is on the list.
Huh.
Numbness and tingling sensation in the hands and feet. Let's see, cold hands and feet, which I'm notorious for having ice cold hands all the time, even outside in the sun. Let's see, pain and burning sensation around the implant. Symptoms of fibromyalgia, symptoms of Lyme disease, and symptoms of autoimmune disorders.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about when you were reading through that, that's exactly what I was thinking. This sounds very similar to an autoimmune issue, Lyme's or fibromyalgia, which fibromyalgia is, especially with the joint tenderness and the achiness and stuff like that. Um, and fibromyalgia, there's nothing that there's not like a test that you take, like a blood test, and it says, oh, here you go, the marker's here, and you have fibromyalgia. So a lot of the times, people get labeled fibromyalgia, and
Mhm.
it it could be that, or it could not be that, or it's kind of like that catch-all phrase of, we really don't know what kind of inflammation is going on with your body. You've got all these symptoms, we can't pinpoint it. So hey, we're going to label you as fibromyalgia. So did the doctors do that, or did they immediately go to the breast plant, or did you diagnose that as breast plant implant?
No, that was actually my cardiologist that said, I think you need to look into this.
Okay.
Because again, after wearing that heart rate monitor for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
he, the one in the hospital couldn't find anything physically wrong with the heart. This one that I went to is an electrophysiologist.
Ah.
He's looking at the heart currents. And he can't find anything physically wrong either. So he's just throwing his hand up in the air. He's like, I really don't know what to tell you. This is not coming from your heart. And then he said, I'm going to ask you an off the wall question. Just bear with me. He says, how long have you had your implants for? I'm like, 22 years. Why? Have you ever considered breast implant illness? And I went, no.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered a friend of mine who had hers removed last year because she was having a lot of issues. So I contacted her and
Okay.
she has helped me out along the way.
That's awesome. So I did look up some stats on that, and it said the stats are anywhere from 1 in 3,000 to 1 in 30,000 women
Mhm.
will get breast implant illness. It usually happens after 10 years that you've had the implants in, and it's usually um, diagnosed through fluid around the implant, unusual fluid
Mhm.
buildup around the implant, very thick scarring all of a sudden, around the implant, or a mass that forms in the implant. And then they usually do a biopsy with that. Um, I know that one of my good friends that did have the removal surgery, she had very similar symptoms to you as far as those autoimmune symptoms. And then she had the surgery a year ago, and now she was just diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So I'm not sure if that was if it's residual, and Hashimoto's, for you guys that are listening, it's a thyroid issue, right? And so now I wonder if that was residual after the fact, or if she's going to be able to get that maintained. She's choosing to do everything completely holistic and natural with the Hashimoto's. So you decided, okay, this is what I have. Okay, so now where do you go from here? Like, what have you changed to what you're doing, and what's your prognosis, what's your plan of action?
Okay. Right now, because the implants, what's happening is implants are causing a chronic inflammation in the body, chronic inflammation response,
Okay.
which causes the body to attack healthy cells. That's why it's an autoimmune condition. So I've seen a rheumatologist who can't find anything to diagnose either. But when he looked at that whole list, he said, if I were to just look at that, I would say you have fibromyalgia.
Mm-hmm.
But upon physical examination, he's like, you don't have that. So I've seen him. I have to see somebody for thyroid issues. It's just one of the levels is weird and the others are normal. So it's just I forgot what I was gonna say, Trish.
Your thyroid levels, did they get that through blood work? Have
Yeah,
you Is that the only thing they've found through the blood work that's off?
the thyroid levels, it's actually the thyroid stimulating hormone that's off. The other ones are normal. So that's why they can't figure out what's wrong. They found a positive ANA panel. That's why the rheumatologist had to see me. And that was a false positive too. It's just coming up as chronic inflammation. Um, I want to backtrack a little bit because a lot of women think, well, maybe this is just because of silicone implants, and it has nothing to do whether the implants are silicone or saline. The fact of the matter is that the casing is made of silicone and it is treated with very toxic chemicals, and then they put that in your body. Yeah, and they know this. So it's the body attacking a foreign object that's also treated with toxins.
Mhm.
So
And I've seen a lot. So your plan of action is we're going to get them removed,
yes,
right?
I actually just scheduled my explant surgery yesterday. So before the year is over, they're out.
See you later.
Eviction.
So that is interesting. Um, so how long is this? How like what's the surgery is they take them out, and then how long is your recovery, and how does that work?
Mhm. Anybody that's gonna do the explantation surgery is very highly recommended that you also remove the capsule. The capsule is a scar tissue that forms around the implant, and if you have that tissue that's contaminated and you leave it in your body, you're probably going to continue to have symptoms, especially if your autoimmune system is already activated.
Okay.
So I just know it's a 5-hour surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're gonna take the implants out, take the capsule out. It's, I think the recovery is a week,
Okay.
is what I'm being told. Again, because I'm healthy, he expects me to recover faster, but no heavy lifting for a month, which I can do. Um, I think that was it, right?
Right. Yeah. So okay. So and then when is that's going to be before the end of this year, right?
Mhm. In a few weeks, yes.
And so what are you doing in the meantime to prepare for that, for the surgery?
In the meantime, I have cut out all processed sugars from my body. No bread, no cheese, nothing that's going to cause more irritation and inflammation. I am eating extremely clean, extremely healthy. I also use the pure products, especially the super fruits, the juices, and the sulfur because it has anti-inflammatory qualities. And honestly, that's what's helping me get through the days. When I don't take my pure products, my juices, and all that, my heart rate tends to stay higher than usual. And I mean, it's pretty bad right now. It's to the point that I can't walk from here to the kitchen because my heart rate shoots up to 120, 130, and I'm not even walking fast.
Yeah, and then that's just scary when your heart races like that. I know that. I've seen like I'm on a couple groups in Facebook, and so you guys know, please reach out if you have any questions. Please reach out to Karla. If you have any friends that are experiencing any of these symptoms and they kind of need answers and they don't know what's going on, please share this link with them so that they can hear that list of symptoms that she went over. I know Karla would be happy to set up an appointment and help, counsel you on, her experience and what to look for and what even to ask the doctors, right? Because a lot of the times as health coaches, we're just advocates. We're just here to help you, give you information, help you answer questions, and help you give you the knowledge so that you can make an educated decision, right? And whatever decision that you make, we're here to support you, and we're kind of like the encyclopedias, instead of you having to do all this research, we pretty much know somebody that's got some expertise with this, and we can point you in the right direction and get you the help that you need. I know that the groups that I have seen on Facebook, um, the people that have been in recovery and had the surgery, their dark circles under their eyes go away, their headaches go away. A lot of them have neck pain, chronic neck pain or joint pain. They say that the second that they come out of surgery and the days following, they see the immediate uh, change in all of those symptoms that they were having. So really, that's really my hope for you is that you get some relief from this and you've got your energy back and you've got, once you recover, you can start running again and, you know, enjoying your life again.
Right.
Um, and I would really want you to come back on and do like a part two and go through, share with us what you go through. Because I mean, myself, I've had implants for what, I'm going to be 52. They're 30 years old. This coming year, they're going to be 30 years old.
Mhm.
And I've never had any issues, but you never know, one. And I often consider, do I need to get them out? Should I just be preventative and cautious and do it? That's been a big decision, that's looming over my head all the time, because I don't want it to get to the point where I do start feeling, ill. And then, that decision is going to be an easy decision, but do I be proactive, and kind of nip it in the bud. Um, there was one other thing I wanted to ask you, and now that's blowing my mind.
That's
Um,
I actually made a note of something that I
oh
really
yeah,
need to tell you because I couldn't
yes.
forget that one. As of September 29th, 2020, the FDA issued a black box warning for all breast implants,
Mm.
meaning that the manufacturers have to have a warning about health problems that could arise as a result of breast implant. Specifically, two things. One is breast implant associated anaplastic large cell lymphoma, which is a very, very rare form of cancer, but it's very aggressive and it is linked to breast implants. And then the second reason that they gave was for breast implant illness, which is an autoimmune and systemic condition.
Gotcha.
Although there is no diagnostic code for it yet, though.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. It was an insurance. So is insurance covering this surgery, or we don't know?
Right now, we don't know. Uh,
Oh,
Again, because it is not a diagnosable condition, there is no code for it. However, if a woman has a Baker 2, a Baker 3, or a Baker 4 contracture, which means the scar tissue around the implant has gotten hard and it makes the breast look a little deformed and even painful. If you have that diagnosis of Baker 3 or 4, then the only way to fix that is through explantation. Uh,
gotcha.
so right now, I don't know, we're fighting with insurance right now, even though the cardiologist wrote a note saying that extraction is medically necessary because of the severity of the symptoms.
Gotcha.
We're waiting to hear. So hopefully at part two, I'll be able to say insurance paid for it, since now there is a black box warning too.
Yeah, that's important. Those black box warnings are so important. I mean, you know, maybe I would have made a different decision if I knew that back then,
Mhm.
that this was even a possibility, right?
Right.
So, thank you so much for sharing your story and opening yourself up today. Because that's one thing, if you're a young woman and you're looking to do this kind of surgery, you need to know what the possible risks associated with the surgery, and then you outweigh the risks and the consequences, and make an educated decision. That's all we're here about.
Exactly.
So I think maybe if I knew about that back then, I would have not made the decision.
Right. Same here.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you so much, Carla. I appreciate you being on. And thanks you guys for listening to the Lifestyle Wellness Podcast. And we will talk to you soon.
Yes.